And there might be some of that going on with Trump, but what strikes me is that it's just such an incredible waste of time and talent and resources that the White House press shop, probably on a daily basis, has to go back and try to forensically put whatever he has said together so that it makes sense. So you can imagine Sarah Huckabee Sanders or people in her office today saying, gosh, can we find a time where he would have been with Peña Nieto or with the Boy Scout leaders that we could plausibly make this true somehow? And it's just, this is not the way to use your press shop. I mean, these are people who are meant to be staffing the president, prepping the president, spreading the president's message on policy, and instead they're having to figure out how to make what he just said somehow sort of true.
And they have to do it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You know, yesterday, in the middle of a routine White House meeting on entrepreneurialism and American economic growth, he drops in this little note that the CEO of Foxconn has actually committed $30 billion, not $10 billion, to Wisconsin, but that was off the record. But of course, he says it in a public forum, so it's now on the record, and I have to believe that it's probably not true. But he's put it out there, and I'm sure everyone in the White House had to get on the phone today with the CEO of Foxconn to say, can you support us in this?
Well, you know, he used to do this all the time in business, right? And Tony Schwartz, when he wrote The Art of the Deal for Donald Trump, invented the phrase truthful hyperbole because he had to come up with a way to talk about how Donald Trump lies without saying he lies in business. And so he came up with this meaningless phrase, which he now admits is meaningless, and he presented it to Donald Trump in a way saying, look, I had to come up with some way. And Trump looked at it and said, oh, great idea.
Love it.
I love it. I think it's fabulous.
It's one thing as a citizen, as a business person, as a, you know, if you're tabloid fodder, to be spinning a yarn,
Yep,
to be pretending you're a
exaggerating,
PR person. It's another thing as President of the United States when all of this stuff is checkable.
Look, I
mean, that the President of Mexico is going to come out and say...
refute this.
Right, yes.
I think it's important that we determine whether the President of the United States is to be believed or not. And I think it's fair to say he is not to be believed. But if you're looking at his voters, his base, I'm just not sure this is the metric by which they are judging him.
Right.
And, you know, we've learned a lot of lessons from Thomas Frank's What's the Matter with Kansas, where he basically told half the country that voting based on their economic interests was stupid. I don't think we should judge his base for maybe judging Trump differently on some different set of values than whether he's
or the thought
exaggerating
that all politicians lie, and you know, on the big issues, you know, they agree with him. People agree with him, and that's fine.
Maybe
all
they
this stuff
want him to do, and what he says is just less important.
because all of this was revealed during the campaign.
Sure.
It's not as if it's new information. It's just interesting that it continues in the Oval Office.
But it is affecting him because if members of Congress believe that you're not telling them the truth, if you say to a member of Congress, you vote this way, I'll have your back. Don't worry about it. I got you. And then they don't believe him. They're not gonna be with him. And I think it. So I think it, and by the way, the whole Don Jr. thing. Well, he wasn't involved in the Don Jr. Press release that kept changing every day. Well, now we know that he was, and so eventually, I think you reach a
fewer establishment going to bat for him. I just don't know that this erodes his.
But let's not forget, Robert Mueller has an active investigation going on around Russian collusion in whatever form it might take, and Trump has prevaricated around that issue. So there are going to be consequences to his lying. I imagine Robert Mueller is sitting there each night with a little notebook just checking off boxes. And whatever the White House press corps is doing, or whatever the White House spokespeople are doing, the reality is he is misled investigators.
We got to take a break. Coming up, the White House backs a plan to cut back on legal immigration, and a senior White House policy advisor went after CNN's Jim Acosta. About a poem inscribed on the Statue of Liberty. We'll play that for you, and later I'll speak with Republican Senator Jeff Flake, who is so anti-Trump in some regards, he wrote a book about it.